this is Trista from Zero Casualties. Welcome to another vintage recipe. And today we have peanut butter, fig, and raisin sandwiches. So this is from the sandwich section of the Delineator cookbook from 1928. And this is under the section sandwiches with nut fillings. So we are going to show you the ingredients really quick. Then I'll get to making the filling and then get out the homemade bread. I decided to use the oatmeal bread I made the other day from the same book because at that time I'm sure that they bought bread from time to time, but I think it was more common for people to make bread at home at that time. So we're going to follow through with everything being as homemade as we can. So let's jump right in to the ingredients. Okay, so let's jump right into what ingredients we have here for this. I'm just going to call it a tea sandwich or a snack sandwich. So we have dried figs. It says about 1/4 cup. I'm kind of making it a heaping 1/4 cup. I'm going to be chopping these up. About 1/4 cup of raisins. Again, I was pretty generous with this. We're going to be chopping all this up. Then we have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, pure maple syrup. The original calls for corn syrup, and I don't really like to use that unless it's for a candy recipe where you absolutely need it for the properties it has. But for this, I thought maple syrup would be a more delicious and healthy option. Then we have 1/2 cup of peanut butter. I chose the chunky natural kind that's unsweetened. Then we have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. We have some butter. This is not going to be part of the mixture, but we're going to butter the bread ahead of time. And that is it, other than our bread slices. So the original says to wash figs and raisins and put through a food chopper. I don't think it's really necessary to wash these as they came, packaged from the store. So I'm going to skip that. And I do not have the, kind of an old-fashioned food chopper. And I usually just like cutting things by hand. Once in a while I use a food processor, but they would not have had those in 1928, I do not think, anyways. So we're going to chop these as fine as we can. And I would love to know if you love tea, afternoon tea, tea sandwiches. I'm a huge fan of that. And so one of the tips that I learned from working at a tea house is to always freeze your sliced bread. If it's homemade bread, slice it ahead of time as thin as you can, and then freeze it before you make your sandwiches because it's much easier to slice that way. So that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to stop talking now, but make sure to leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite tea sandwich is, or favorite tea is, if you are so inclined. So yes, I'm going to take a little break from talking and I'll just speed up the chopping. I've gotten these all chopped up as best I could by hand. I love to use a chef knife. I don't know what kind of knives you enjoy using for cooking, but let me know in the comments. So we have our peanut butter here that we're gonna mix in. Then we'll put our 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that is a 1/2 cup of peanut butter, a 1/4 cup of chopped raisins, a 1/4 cup of chopped figs, then the 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, originally corn syrup. You could probably use all kinds of different flavor syrups in here as well. You can make it to your taste. So let's get this mixed up. And then after we get our filling mixed up, I'm going to take the sliced bread out of the freezer. Then we will butter it and get our sandwiches put together and cut up as prettily as we can for our little tea time treat. What kinds, if you like tea or coffee or any favorite hot beverage or hot chocolate or anything chai, what kind of accompaniments do you like with your tea? I often just like a piece of fruit or something. I love the egg salad sandwiches at tea places, all kinds of things like that. Ooh, this is really smelling good. It's coming together quite nicely. So this is the filling. I will kind of show you a little closer. The filling looks really good. All right. So now that that's done, I will be right back with the bread and we'll get to assembly. So here's our homemade oat bread that we made the other day. And I just put it in a freezer bag. I made sure and slice it. I sliced it ahead of time as thin as I could by hand. And it's been in the freezer over an hour, probably a couple hours. We're not gonna use the heel, but let's butter these. I'm going to be making, let's see, we need to match these up. Okay, yeah, make sure that they are matched up with the one on the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna be making 3 sandwiches here, one for each of us so that we can give them a taste. I'm also gonna grab this kind of spreader knife for the filling. I just have a regular butter knife. I'm just putting softened butter on the bread, and it's nice and cold, of course. So I'm hoping that it will slice nicely. I'm just gonna do one of these on camera so that you can see how it's put together. My son and I were talking about how we already missed summer because the butter doesn't soften quite as well as it does in the summer for our toast, but that's okay. It's cozy to be in fall now. So you can see we have these buttered. Then I'm going to bring over the filling. I really like these kind of spreaders or spreader knives. So let's get that on there. Want to make a nice thick layer so we taste it. And let's see, let's get that on there to the best of our ability. Of course, we're going to be kind of cutting it to a nice shape as much as we can. So let's put these two halves together. You can see that's what it looks like right now. Okay, so to the best of my ability, I'm gonna make a shape. Let's make kind of a rectangle. And this does slice really well when it's frozen. Really helps a lot so it doesn't kind of squish out funny. And we can always eat the scraps as a snack as well. It's gonna be super yummy. But I wanna make a nice rectangle. So luckily these slices are so small that kind of makes almost a natural rectangle just by cutting the edges. That is actually quite pretty. So this is the finished pretty tea sandwich. I'm actually quite impressed. I kind of like those slices of butter. That looks really good. This is from the top, the sides. So that's gonna look really pretty on a tea tray. And when I finish these sandwiches, I'm gonna store them in this container. I'm gonna store them like this and then seal it up and keep it in the fridge so that they don't dry out. That's another tea time tip for you. Alrighty, I will be back with the finished sandwiches, and later on we'll have a little tea time to celebrate these yummy sandwiches, and we'll give them a taste test. Hey, I just finished up the, excuse me, delicious tea sandwiches. So these are fig raisin tea sandwiches with peanut butter. And I think they look really cute. They are not extremely uniform because the bread is homemade, but the slices are fairly nice. And I'm gonna save these in the fridge, and then we'll have a little family tasting later on, and also maybe pair it with some tea. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the tasting. Hey, we're here for the tea sandwich tasting, so let's give it a go.
What's in this again?
There's figs, raisins, maple syrup, lemon juice, and then there's some butter on the oatmeal bread.
Okay, here we go.
Yep, we'll see. Nice sweet flavor. Also get a little bit of lemon. Interesting.
Okay, I really like this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Fig Newton sandwich.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't think about the Fig Newton.
I taste the
love Fig Newton.
I taste the fig, and I taste, you know, I do taste the peanut butter, which I love peanut butter. Mm-hmm. And then you get the...
Oh, and peanut butter. Yeah, I forgot to mention peanut butter in here. That's right. What do you think?
I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a very different flavor.
Do you like Fig Newtons?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in here. I mostly taste peanut butter, to be honest.
Well, I am a big fan.
Sounds great. Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for tasting the tea sandwiches.
Okay.